What's the opposite of heat?
Cold.
Cold.
Oh, dead people. Get
Right.
it, cold.
We're looking for cold spots. Right. So, oh, I got all females tonight. So, guys, I'm the hottest thing in the picture. So yellow, orange, and red guy, that means literally I'm the warmest thing inside the picture right now. Anything blue. Yeah, it's cold down here tonight, I'll be honest.
Actually, it's not bad now. We were cold in our house.
I just texted my wife like a frozen ghost and said, hey, it's a little colder down here. I'm glad I wear long sleeves. But we're literally looking for blue and black spots to move on their own. Blue and black are going to be the colder areas. So, yeah, it's very fun. This is a device that captures maybe a good 5 to 6 pieces of evidence per year. This is not an every single night thing. However, if we're not recording, we won't capture. That's kind of how this works out. You will get this full recording. Again, we're going to do starts and stops, not because the hardware is horrible, but the software is horrible. So if we record for too long with this one, we will lose all footage, and we definitely don't want to lose all footage. So again, starts and stops on this one. We're going to try to keep a person in view at all times. Notice I said I was the warmest thing in the picture. If I leave the picture, the orange, red, and yellow goes somewhere else, as you guys all noticed. Paige probably missed out. But with that said, we're going to try to do that. That way we have a variation of color. So, I'm losing names already.
Danielle.
You're usually not forgettable.
I'm the jerk. You can call me the jerk all night. That one's going to go off to you. The camera is on your left-hand side right now. Whenever I have you stop the video and restart it, make sure it always starts on your left. Otherwise, it goes upside down, and YouTube doesn't know the flippies. So we're going to try to keep it on your left-hand side all night.
Cool boy, it's a lot of responsibility.
Am I right?
I know, lots of responsibility.
You are, yeah, you look like a ghost.
Oh my god, you like it.
Skeleton.
Yeah, yeah. Are we all red?
Uh-oh.
I'm dead inside.
Don't look at me.
I should have worn my shirt that has the Grim Reaper on it that says you're next. You guys would have appreciated that. So, spirit boxes. We're going to use a couple of different types of spirit boxes tonight. Spirit boxes are basically radio sweepers, so it's going to sweep through all of the FM radio stations at a very quick rate. On your TV shows, it's usually just white noise, and then the host will tell you what he thinks he heard in the middle of it, trying to convince you of the same thing. Ours are slowed down on purpose. You're not used to listening to just white noise, listening for voices all the time, so I want the DJs, the song lyrics, and the commercial to actually pop through. I want whatever Renee hears to be able to spit back at me and say, hey Nick, I heard this specific phrase, whatever it might be, no matter how silly you think it might be. You're going to have a set of earbuds that I do not want back. I buy them in bulk, so you can... I don't want them. Earwax is gross. Let's just get it out there. So, I'm going to give you a set of earbuds. You're going to be the only one that can hear this right now. However, you will get the full recording back tomorrow morning without any outside noise or any kind of variation in like volume. So it's going to record at a nice even level. I will go through it for, I don't know, probably 30 minutes or so, spot checking it, and give you a few examples of what I heard while I was going through it. And then if it's relevant to the person a place where we're at, the person I'm talking about, one of us, I'll give you the reason why, and then I'll give you the backlink to verify the info. So again, I'm not making anything up here. None of this is going to be myths and legends. So I'm going to set it up to record. Okay.
Right.
You have one button for yourself to worry about. It's the volume wheel at the very top. It's not the button, just so you know.
It's a wheel.
Okay. We're going to be occupied tomorrow.
Yeah. To be honest, I normally hand you back a good 8 hours worth of work to do. You will not get it all done tomorrow.
Oh, boy. Wow.
Take a set of earbuds. They're all individually wrapped. I've never touched them.
Well, we'll be napping, so, you know.
Yeah, there you go.
We'll take turns. Oh, yeah.
The other spirit box we're going to use works a little bit differently. So this goes to the one who had a little bit of broken English, because it's going to spell it out for us. You guys are going to appreciate my sense of humor. This is great. So this is going to give us words from time to time in the center of the screen. Okay, it's going to save all those words to a list. So last night's list, they had 76 terms. I'm going to clear them out because they already have the list. Here's what I'm going to tell you about the list. 80% of it is bullshit. Doesn't mean anything. It's the other 20%, same thing. Place, location, one of us. I'll give you the backlink to show and why it's actually relevant, and put it in highlights or bold or whatever it is that I do. So again, absolute will not be on your list. So whenever I ask to see the list, you don't need to show me every term. I'll come to you. That way I'm not being interrupted constantly. You hit the little scroll to the right of the word. You'll be able to scroll through it when we do have words, and then you just circle back. 2 buttons. You got this. This way you can't screw it up. Move those words around.
Oh.
a video button on and messes up.
You're gonna be my multitasker.
Okay. Oh god. Oh boy.
Is that a bad thing?
No.
That's all right.
This device is called a millimeter. Okay, so basically what it does, you guys have all seen the blinky lights on TV shows and all that stuff that says, hey, we have something nearby kind of thing, because it makes the lights go off. This is doing it digitally, so your top numbers are measuring EMF, electromagnetic fields.
Okay.
So cell phones, if it was like right on top of it, electrical lines, parking meters, that's going to make it go off. However, anything above 2.5, we're still going to try to debunk what's actually happening.
Okay.
In the event Danielle finds something on her
Very nice.
camera, I haven't remembered yours yet, but that's okay.
It's Lisa.
Well, I'm a jerk.
The forgettable one.
Yeah, I mean, it's usually not me. That's why I'm just surprised.
Yes, you're good.
The bottom number actually measures ambient temperature based on this yellow probe at the top.
Okay.
So in the event Danielle finds something, you and I can debunk it or prove it pretty quickly because it moves very quickly.
Okay.
Last thing that this thing has, and we don't use this all the time, but we have what we call a REM pod. It's built in. Basically, it senses motion. Anything that gets close to the antenna, it will go off. The closer it gets, the higher pitch it's going to give us. And obviously, there's a variation of color here at the top. I point it downwards because it's super bright. So that way, when I'm doing the demo, nobody's getting blinded.
Okay.
So again, we don't always use it because it can be annoying on the regular audio. However, you and I will do some testing with this thing as we're kind of moving to each location. So for now, just leave the little flap open in the back and focus on the red numbers on your screen.
Okay.
All right, everybody's got something?
We're good.
Go have fun. Let me know how it goes. No kidding. You guys waited, like, seriously?
Yeah. We're like, we will. We don't know.
We'll have fun.
You'll never
We'll
see
be
us
back.
again.
We'll see you. See you tonight. At some point. Maybe.
All right, so questions, comments, or concerns at this point?
I don't have to hit anything with this now. It's like frozen on it. What am I? I'm just
Pros?
listening.
That's not
I'm just gonna listen.
Do you have the buds in?
No, I'm gonna put them in though.
Okay.
I didn't hit anything.
Sure.
I didn't. I didn't
Boy.
touch it.
Technologically.
We gotta get a picture with us with our gear.
Yes.
Will you take a picture, Nick?
I sure can.
I already broke my gear. So is this like changing on its own? Does this mean I got a ghost around me that's doing this to me?
It's
No,
me.
that means I set it up to move on its own.
Oh.
I wanted to sweep through all of the stations. Otherwise, you're going to listen to one station and it said Q104,
Yeah.
and
And I
whoever's
wanna
going to be
able
playing
hear.
next.
What do these mean, though?
So the game you and I are playing, because that's, again, it's meant to be a game in a hoax. It's got over 9,000 words in there. So it's going to spit out a word from time to time. The game we're playing on yours is it coming from a ghost, or is it coming from the app? Or is it coming from an illusion?
How do we know?
That's kind of creepy.
When we're in a location that it gives us such a specific term that I'm like, yeah, that's not random. There's
Like
no way
turn
that's
back?
What'd you say? Like turn back.
It's not a horror movie.
Damn it!
She really wants it to be.
Yeah, she's crazy.
So the ironic thing is that there's a joke with horror movies that most porno movies will start off the exact same way that a horror movie will start off with.
I've seen that myself.
Yeah.
So every horror movie you watch from here going forward, you're going to
Think of a
picture
porn.
that in a porno theme,
All right.
and you're all going to have
Got
a good
it.
chuckle.
Okay. Yeah, think about it. He's probably right.
Yeah.
I do this for a living.
Think about screams. Bringing a scream.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Okay.
All
right,
right.
let's
All
talk
right,
about
let's
what
get our
is-
picture.
Oh, we'll do the picture.
Oh, yes.
We gotta hold up our gear.
Hold on, I gotta make myself more
I think you're
beautiful.
just trying to get me in the street so I become the ghost.
That would-
Yeah.
yeah.
Hold the gear.
It takes several.
Can you see us?
Yep.
Flash?
It's actually a really good camera. What phone is this?
I don't know. 11?
iPhone?
Yeah.
You made me touch an Apple product?
Why are we all squatting down again?
I don't
It
know.
actually came out really good.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Because you're trying to get to
Is there anything in the
her
background?
level.
It's a ghost.
There's a ghost behind us. Let's see it.
That'd be pretty cool if there was.
Oh, that's a cool picture. I like it.
All right.
We're ready.
I just got the new Google Pixel 6 Pro, whatever the hell it is, and it actually has a crazy camera. That's why I was like, oh, this one's actually pretty good. So let's talk about why we started here. We're not going anywhere yet.
Turn it around though. I want to take a picture of it.
Like, really, John?
It's cool. All right.
You're going to have the
My
whole video
husband's
of that.
fascinated by this
Oh,
stuff.
gotcha.
He sells this kind of stuff.
Okay. That's kind of
Thermal
cool.
I just like
imagers.
dead
No,
things.
thermal imagers. She just likes
Fair
dead
enough.
people.
Let's go find them.
Well, we're going to start here.
All right.
Big John's. So, this place is haunted. Of course, that's why we started here. So you definitely want to get
Didn't
those
it
earbuds
burn
set up.
down?
it actually did have a fire, but that's not what we're going to be talking about tonight. Big John's was named after a football player. I told you I don't like sports, so I had to memorize this crap so I could tell it back to you guys. Football player for the 1947 New York Giants. This was his bar back in the day, obviously established in 1955 as per the sign. So, what happened is he used to sit in the back of the bar and he would tell the bartender if the cadets, if they were coming over from the Citadel, if they were old enough to drink or not. One night, 2 guys come in, they're not old enough to drink. He has the bartender throw them out. They leave pretty pissed off. They come back the next night. They try to steal the cash register from the front of the bar. John sees what's happening, gets away from the bar, starts beating the hell out of these guys, just pounding them right into the floor. A couple of shots go off. John gets hit in the neck. The bullet lands in the wall. So John gets up after being shot, goes back to the bar, tells the bartender to get him another beer, get the 2 guys on the floor in ambulance. John's the only one that got shot, by the way. So, what's haunting the place is the bullet hole. It's allegedly still here. People that sit in the front of the bar tend to get a little queasy, nauseous, headache. I say all of this on purpose, which is another reason why we start here. We're going to be, fingers crossed, be dealing with paranormal activity tonight. If anybody feels any of those symptoms, I need to know immediately. It is a very, very big deal to me. I won't say that people have not passed out on this tour, but they have. Just a few weeks ago, I will tell you a story that happened on the very last stop, so I'm going to leave it to your responsibility to remind me to tell that part of the story.
Oh boy.
It is relatable to the story that goes to that spot. So, and you'll see why once we get there. Let's not think about our own health, because a lot of people start worrying about, like, what the hell did I sign up for when I tell that little spiel. So, Paige is already like, she's got that disgusted look, like, oh man, this is serious. So, we had a big earthquake here in 1886. If you guys plan on taking other tours sometime in the next couple of days, you're going to hear about this earthquake a lot. Why? Because it's a big anomaly for Charleston, because we're on the East Coast. We don't get earthquakes. This one was a 7.4, I think they said, on the Richter scale, but the Richter scale wasn't invented yet in 1886, so we're guessing based off the amount of damage. However, this is allegedly where the first death occurred from that earthquake. The mantle you see in the middle of the building also goes around to the front. A piece of it broke off, struck somebody in the back of the head and killed him, and they say you could see his ghost in the middle of the East Bay Street in the middle of the night. Notice I said apparently and allegedly a lot with that story. I don't have any proof. It's just a great segue so nobody thinks about getting sick on the tour. Right, Paige?
Sure.
You guys ready?
Yes.
Let's do this. We're going to go this way. You guys still need to throw something away?
Yes.
He must have hit it by accident at some point along the road.
It fell out, like, it stopped working initially.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
you gotta push it back in.
Yep. Yeah. Went back to default.
This is my normal. I always think I'm taking a video and I'm not.
Oh,
I'm like, oh, never took a video.
Nope, never mind. DJ Renee over there. Oh, she's like this. In the club. Can we walk around or not?
You can.
Oh.
I just figured y'all would want to stick together.
Oh my god. Oh, we'll walk around together. How hot? How hot is this? How hot is this? You know?
It is hot.
Is it red? Oh my god, yes.
You are red.
Hot. Oh, yeah. Yes or no?
I have no idea what we're doing. Maybe this has just popped up. I do actually kind of like believe in ghosts, but like just because I've had like weird things happen. But
Still says gateway. Getting really cold. Because we're by the gateway.
it's really cold, right?
I'm cold.
I'm surprised.
Dr. Chuck. Chuck.
This is scary.
Mira. Mira. Mirror.
No, Mira.
Like a name or Mira? Oh, M-I-R-A.
No.
Myra?
Good for you.
Nothing over there, Renee. Ask a different question, perhaps.
I take a picture of you holding that thing.
Charles. Charles. How many children did you have?
don't actually know what I'm looking for on this camera. I'm just holding it.
I'm just pushing buttons. Wait, 2.6.
Yeah, like I mean, everything's. Am I gonna see like a ghost?
I think you're gonna see blue
Okay.
object, a random blue object. Is
Gotcha.
my guess that we would want to like.
Ghosts are cold, so you're looking for blue. Me, I'm just like filming everybody like that. Mine doesn't show anything.
Right, he's got to go back. Yeah.
So he's gonna look at the footage of everything together.
My thumb's gonna fall off.
I had to switch hands. It's cold. I'm happy I grabbed my jacket last second.
It just says stay, guys.
Says what?
Stay.
Oh.
I switched hands. It doesn't like that end. I'm buying a jacket tomorrow. I'm cold. Yeah.
Like people come down here for vacation,
Yeah.
there's snow, and it's still like 35 degrees out.
Yeah, yeah.
We just don't have any snow.
Come on, Eliza.
Is there anyone else you can talk to other than
That's
Eliza?
Charles.
Charles.
Come on, Charles.
Their son Charles.
I know.
Charles, where's Eliza?
She's her face. She what? It just says stay still. And she just saw the guy.
She
Freaking
likes
out,
us.
man.
She likes us.
I wonder why she come talk to us.
Hope so.
I think it's Chuck. That's what I was thinking.
Chuck likes it when
Yeah, can we try talking to him?
You can?
I think we were first Charles.
Can somebody tell us what happened to the house?
That's a yes or no.
Damn it. Shut your. Can someone tell me why I'm so dumb?
Charles, what happened to the house?
Where do you go by? I don't think so. I think it's Chuck. It's just.
More than likely.
She said Chuck. She heard Chuck.
Lily just said, I just realized your shirts were Mean Girls theme. Oh, sorry.
She's very.
Lily just said, I just realized your shirts were Mean Girls. That's like her favorite. Maybe in play.
I didn't even understand it somehow.
How did
So
they
much
How
going
did Charles
on.
die? Do you know?
What's that?
Do you know how they died? Elias and Charles?
Alaya!
Yeah, that's
What's
part of the
Alaya?
bullshit.
Aaliyah.
Are they boxes here?
Hallelujah. Why do you know that that's bullshit?
Because I see it all the time. And that's not a common name for the time frame that we're in. You get to imagine how much reading I have to do with all these people.
Yeah. How did you get interested in this? Adam?
That's a long, long story. However, at times with this particular location, because things come up all the time, and I'm like, what the hell does that mean? That's how I learned about all these different questions I told you guys to ask about. The fire, her death, the pallbearer. Like, these weren't things that the tourism office...
Fire?
Yes.
I'm going home.
What did it say, fire?
I heard something fire.
She said we were doing something fun and unique tonight. But she didn't tell us what. And I'm like, well, it can't be anything with ghosts or scary because I know she's... That went right off the list. So I'm like, I don't know what it could be. And here we are.
Try to find out what year that was.
What year was the fire?
Who was the pallbearer at the wedding?
They're like, whoa,
Funeral.
whoa.
I'm sorry.
Who?
Pallbearer at the wedding!
That's a rough wedding.
That's Danielle's wedding there.
Oh, that's awful. I didn't mean to say that.
That's
Oh my god. Who was the pallbearer at the wedding?
what is this?
It started off rough.
Is that Corpse Bride?
Yep, right? Alright.
Yeah, that thing's going ballistic. But again, all these questions I have you guys ask, it's not that I'm
My
trained.
husband and I.
He was not a pallbearer at her funeral.
He was the president, you
I'm
said?
hearing like radio things, right? But they're like telling me through that. Is that what you're saying? Like I hear a radio voice, but that's like their message.
Right.
Got it.
So, for example, if you heard the song Drop It Like It's Hot, I would take that as a clue to the fire.
Fire. No, it was like people talking. My husband and I. My husband and I. That's all I heard, though.
Husband and I, what, Eliza?
What are you trying to tell us, Eliza?
We're on the right path. You had fire.
The house burned down and killed our kids.
It's tragedy.
What?
It's a yes or no.
I'm saying.
Just
I
how
think
did
it's a yes or no, and the fact that nothing here is malevolent. She's talking about the 20 kids.
I mean, not intentionally. I'm just saying.
How did the kids
Cooking
die?
in the kitchen?
Is that how the fire started?
No. I'm hearing cooking in the kitchen.
No.
All right.
But we are standing near the servant quarters. So what were we just talking about? The cook. And I've had responses from before that I can't prove that it was an actual cook from the slaves of the home, letting me know that they were here. But we are standing pretty much in the servant quarters right now. But no, the fire did not start from cooking in the kitchen. So,
Where did the
Here
fire
I
start?
go again on my own.
Oh my gosh. Going down.
That's not helping me.
Where did the fire start?
Where did the fire start?
Oh, that's no question.
Eliza, can you tell us how the fire started?
That's a yes or no also there.
Outside of
It's
something.
like it's Morse code. Elijah, are you?
Outside of what?
I don't know. I didn't hear the end of it. Outside of something.
You have one job.
Just listen, crying out loud.
Odell Beckham Jr. That's what I heard.
I'm switching with you in a couple minutes.
What was that?
It like went classical. It was like, hey, hey.
Eliza, where did the fire start? Nothing?
Hello.
Are you guys ready for some answers?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah? Alright. Turn yours down. Let's get those video cameras stopped. Yours hit the your camera if you want to, only because you're going to be the only one that can technically see.
You want me to wait on this if it's going to interrupt you?
Pushing.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
this location is considered a quiet area because we're next to a hotel. So, hence the reason why we use earbuds now on the spirit boxes. So, when we crossed the last crosswalk coming across, and I scooted across real fast, sorry about that, that was where the original Charlestown wall used to be. Charleston used to call it Charlestown, the original wall. This is one of the very first streets we ever had in Charlestown, which is one of the reasons why I like to bring you here. The bricks you're walking on, they're original. So these are called Belgian bricks. They're made out of granite. There is a paranormal theory that granite can hold on to memories of places. Now, with this particular location, it kind of holds true. I think this is the first night I'm actually telling this whole stone tape theory. So stone tape theory basically says rocks or elements of the earth can hold on to memories based on tragic or happy happenings. So with this particular location being one of the first streets we ever had, it makes sense to me now, after 2 years of coming through here, and every 6 to 7 weeks I get the same names, Benjamin and John, around those same intervals. It's almost like watching a movie, and I'm either catching the beginning of it or the end of it, and I'm getting those same names. People used to live here. I have the full list of names of every person that's ever lived here. Ironically, Benjamin and John both lived here at the same time, 1801. So I don't find it ironic that it's about every 6 to 7 weeks that I get the same thing. And again, we're walking on granite, part of the stone tape theory. So other things that have been heard here are children's laughter. I've heard things about fires. I've heard things, all kinds about, from the spirit boxes. But the name thing is really what gets me, just because it's almost on a loop. It just keeps happening over and over and over again. So with the residual haunting, it's almost like you're just watching a movie. You're a bystander. You're not going to get exact results like what we did at the Pinckney Mansion site. So the other interesting thing about this location is it's called Masonic or Lodge Alley because the Freemasons had a Masonic lodge here. So again, Lodge Alley. We will get words like Mason, brick, clay, anything relating to the Freemasons, including the word Illuminati. I've gotten Illuminati here several times, and I have to chuckle every time I hear it, just because, again, really, we're going with conspiracy theories. So, but it shows up from time to time, and you can't deny what actually pops up. They also did a
Broadcast.
archaeological dig underneath these bricks that you're walking on. They found that these people that lived here were lower class people. So it makes sense because the other side of the wall was across the street of East Bay, opposite of where we were walking. Those buildings across the street also wouldn't have been there, not blocking the smell of low tide coming through here constantly. The higher end of Charleston, they would not have put up with that. So have you guys been anywhere in Charleston yet?
No, just King Street today.
So you're going to probably go to the Battery at some point. Those houses are actually sideways. So you're going to see the side of the house on the street side, and they go long backwards. So the reason for that, there's a couple of reasons. First off, you were taxed based on the size of the street that you took up on. So again, if you had the skinny side on the front, you're not going to be taxed as much.
Oh, okay.
So remember I told you about the Pinckneys actually had their house broad on East Bay Street? It's because they had a whole bunch of money and they didn't give a shit about taxes. Like it was almost like bragging rights. Like, haha, we can pay whatever they're willing to throw at us.
That camera went out. Sorry.
What happened?
It just said something and then it went out.
Okay, so it's dead. It's a little early for it to be dying. It normally doesn't die for another 35 minutes.
Okay.
So very interesting. We're going to have to swap out that battery. Again, all of these batteries come off the chargers fully charged before I leave the house. That way I know things are fully charged. All right. The battery houses, the other reason why they're set up that way is because they have what we call piazzas. So basically it's a front porch, right? And then they have a door to that front porch. So you can go to it's part of the house that blocks the smell of low tide. They would keep a window open on the second story so that way the cool air, no low tide smell, can cool off the entire house. So these people down here didn't have that luxury. Shotgun houses, basically meaning 1 to 2 room houses that smell of low tide. We're standing on somebody's stoop right now. Like, that's how close we were. But again, these were just definitely lower class folks. I do like to kind of give you that little bit of history so you kind of get a broader spectrum of where we're at in the city, because the rest of where we're going to be going is inside the original Charlestown walls. So again, part of the original city. What's going to happen from here is as we walk, I'm going to swap out the battery, and we're going to head over to another alley, one that I've been kicked out of many moons ago. We're not going to go down the alley. However, the story that I still tell near the alley still gives us enough paranormal evidence through spirit boxes, and sometimes we get some anomalies on your camera that I've caught from time to time. So as we kind of cut through, we're literally right on the edge of where I'm allowed to take you, because that's a neighborhood at the end of this. So we are going to go to the right after we cross the street outside of the alley. If you want to stop your recording after we leave the alley to kind of give your hands another break, turn it back on once we reach the alley, the next alley that we're going to be heading off to, we can. So I will take this and try to swap things out as we move along slowly. Have you heard anything since we've been here, or did you turn it down?
No, I haven't on. I just
Okay, nothing's coming through? Okay, so again, we're not in that ending 6 to 7 loop. I would say we're probably right around the 5-week loop. But again, I wasn't expecting anything here, but it's a great layout of the land. Not to mention that stone tape theory piece is kind of new. I wanted to test it out on you guys. Thanks for letting me be the guinea pig. It makes sense to me now. I'm going to have you hold this while I change out the battery as we walk. All right, questions about this location?
No.
Normally, it's a lot more lit at the end.
I like it.
So, again, it's a nice creepy place.
Yeah,
Warm
okay.
tourists don't come down here.
It is warmer here too.
Yeah,
It's
no,
nice.
I'm like,
Yeah.
We'll stay here for another minute
I like
while I
the brick
change
walls.
this out.
I like the
Because it's going to get
rooms.
breezy again as we turn the corner. And it does get a few degrees warmer as we move a little bit further in the middle of the peninsula. So the other spaces that we're going to go to tonight after that alley, I'll tell you a couple of little myths and legends. If something pops up paranormally, then great. I don't really expect a whole lot out of it, but then we're going to dive into a female pirate. It's a pretty badass story, actually. And then we'll kind of see what we get out of that, but we'll be doing a full investigation with questions like what we did over at the Pinckney site. However, the investigation for what I did last night, that's where we got booted out of, just so you guys know. So this should be fun to see if the church comes back out and tells me I can't be there when I know I'm allowed to be. Just find it absolutely hysterical.
What do they say? They just don't want you there?
Well, there was a huge wedding reception near Philadelphia Alley last night. I couldn't figure out why all the other tours were like telling the story over here, because it's the same story that they're telling. We're just doing it differently.
Yeah.
Here. So I was like, what are they doing over there? So I heard all this loud music and all this hooting and hollering going on. I'm like, God, what's going on? So we turn a corner and there's literally people flooding the whole street, like where all the tours like to stop. So again, we're getting to the more popular area. So I was like, we're just going to go straight over to the Powder Magazine. We'll get started over there. Well, there's a lot of cars over there, all parked for the wedding reception. So this guy in his cowboy hat comes out in his chaps, and he's like, can't have you over here. And I'm like, what are you talking about, man? I was like, every tour stops here. And he's just like, well, I don't want anybody getting hit, and you guys shouldn't be over here anyway. No, we all stop here because everybody tells a different piece of the history for the Powder Magazine. Like, my people are all standing there with gear, like blinky lights, everything's going off, and he's just like, I can't have you over here, somebody's going to get hurt. He's like, our people over here have been drinking. I'm like, how's that my problem?
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not my problem at all. So we're going to attempt to go back there tonight and see what that
And it was like this, no, tired. It said tired, then lust.
Oh.
Because it said tired, I was like, that's us. And then lust.
Now it's lust.
Now it's going to say.
So who had the good dream this afternoon, I guess is the
Headache.
question.
Oh. Well, Danielle
why you
did
guys
say
keep
she
me
slept
around?
wonderfully.
Now you got it.
Yeah, it was the best.
Just,
You dropped something?
no, I tripped.
Good thing I didn't wear those heels.
These aren't heels.
No, remember I said I was like, are we going out?
straight.
Like, should I wear?
Oh, I would never
Could you,
put that.
oh no, I didn't know. Yeah, no, not for that. When
Yeah,
she said like
yeah.
nice outfit, like
Well, right.
yeah, I brought like black pants and heels. This would have been a disaster. I would have had to go barefoot. Me too. And mine like are like sneakers.
We named it Philadelphia Alley because they say this is from one of our many, many fires. And also dueling became illegal and stupid because this used to be called Dueler's Alley. So we all tell the story of one specific duel. This is the one where I get a lot of evidence from. This is also a place I've been kicked out of because of all the gizmos and gadgets. It is residential at the end, so tour guides here at Charleston were only allowed to take me to specific areas of the city. However, I was taking my group all the way through, which is not allowed. So the new neighbor does not like me so much. So hence why we just stay out here. Most nights, this half where tours are allowed to go is usually littered with much larger groups than what you're dealing with tonight. So again, I just try to stay out of everybody's way based on what we're actually doing out here. So this is an interesting place, and it is the most picturesque place we have too. It's definitely not a terrorist area, but
Oh, that's not creepy.
no, not at all. So
She's such a mess.
You sure you want to sleep with me tonight?
You better rethink that, Paige.
If I was
well, I thought you guys were just
tomato.
friends.
Tomato. Oh no.
Friends
they
with
have,
benefits.
they have a whole new relationship.
It's going to be real ugly tonight.
Mouth. Tomato.
Yeah.
Mouth and tomato.
Lust.
You're never going to hear that.
Mouth, tomato, terrorist.
I might be yelling Fisk.
You better sleep downstairs.
Yeah, you guys live downstairs.
Not near that door.
With your own spirit box. I'm going to lend you mine.
There you go. That's what you need.
Can't take
There's a doctor that moves here from Rhode Island. You notice how I just kind of cut right in?
Yep.
My
Love
wife
it.
always
Wow.
asks me, why? That's my phone.
Oh, well, I thought that was
That's probably my wife telling me she got home. But anyway, doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Joseph Brown Ladd. So he moves here because his fiancee Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. The attorney handling that money for her told her to send the doctor away. He's just after her cash. So the doctor moves down here to Charleston. As the coachman brought him into town, he's setting him up to be robbed and killed. Somebody stops him and says, hey man, this guy's going to try to kill you. Let me take you somewhere else. That guy's name is Ralph Isaacs. The interesting thing is Ralph's initials are the same as where the doctor came from. Rhode Island, Ralph Isaacs. RI shows up here from every once in a while. Not a whole lot, but every once in a while. Ralph says, let me take you somewhere else. That address is 59 Church Street. Number 59 will show up on your spirit box quite often. Now, the two become friends, Ralph and this doctor. So, you have a reading?
But we're just going .30, nothing high.
Okay. say, because I seen her looking like
should
this.
I have this
No,
on?
definitely not. Be
I was
interrupting
listening,
neighbors.
but-
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
I mistook your confusion of like, what's going on?
No, I was looking at her, but then no.
She's very interested, sweet. Very. She wants to sit next to you.
She likes me better than you.
She likes that.
She wants to see and get real scared. Yeah.
The doctor starts making a lot of money while living here. His practice is taking off. So, man is moving down soon, and he's proving his point. He becomes known as the Whistling Doctor. Every haunted city has a whistler. As cheesy as it is, ours is a doctor. But this story is actually true. So, Ralph and the doctor go see plays together, but they can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. So, one night they go see William III, and they start arguing about the new actress that was here. The doctor loved her, Ralph did not. The argument gets pretty ugly, and Ralph starts insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island. Obviously, they go their separate ways. Ralph is from here, so he has friends at the newspaper. He goes to put an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. The doctor sees this nasty ad, and he rebuttals, let's go to Dueler's Alley, let's settle this. So they come down, they take their 20 paces, they turn, the doctor points his gun in the air, and he shoots. He did not want to kill his friend. However, Ralph has his one shot, puts it in the kneecap, on the doctor. The doctor did not die. He's picked up, carried home to 59 Church Street, and he dies 10 days later after refusing medical treatment. And he's a doctor that couldn't heal himself, which means he was probably trying to bleed himself out, trying to get rid of the infection. They say as you walk through the alley, you can hear the whistles from the doctor. Mind you, when I had my groups coming down here, I would tell everybody turn your spirit boxes down. As before we started using the earbuds. You're going to use the audio piece on my bag to try to capture any whistles. All the locals know this story. Anybody walking up or down Cumberland or Queen Street, which is the other side of the alley, will throw a whistle down the alley for shits and giggles. I'm one of them. Every single night, once we're done up this way, my garage is this way. I throw a whistle down the alley just because I don't take folks down there anymore and I want to throw off all the other drivers. However, when you walk down here to take pictures, because it is absolutely gorgeous down there, day or night, and you can see the mansion at the end and how gorgeous their courtyard is, turn on your voice recorders, listen to it later, see what you actually capture. It's not going to be it's going to be very, very faint, and it's going to be in the background. One of the reasons why I got kicked out of this alley is because my folks, I would always point out that at the end of this alley there are bricks that were sun-dried from slave children. Those bricks have fingerprints and one full handprint at the end. All my people wanted to stop to take pictures or to put an EMF meter near it to see if anything would occur. If you notice, when I told you the story of Eliza Pinckney, she died in Philadelphia and she was buried in Philadelphia, yet she haunts her mansion down here in Charleston, almost 400 miles away. People do not hang out where they're buried. Stories in a cemetery doesn't take you to actual cemeteries on purpose, because you're not going to hang out where you're buried. You're going to go to places that you loved. This was not a place that this poor slave child loved by putting his handprint inside of a brick. It is, I look at it as almost a headstone. It's just, I like to show it off to show how far we've come. It's a pretty big deal to us people here in Charleston. Living in New Jersey, it's a lot different than the way it is down here. So slavery is looked at constantly, and it is constantly brought up. So without knowing the history of it, we can't learn from it. So I come from Ohio. You don't talk about slavery in Ohio because there wasn't really a whole lot of slavery in Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
Down here, it's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
So from here, we're going to actually go up. You can see he's taking pictures because it's absolutely gorgeous. Maybe he thinks we're all ghosts.
Yeah, he was thinking. Oh, what's it say?
It's a marching building.
Oh.
There's your word Mason from the...
That's her son.
Well, that's Lodge Alley.
She's saying, can you please give me more time?
On my iPad.
How about some Roblox? No?
We just left Lodge Alley that had a
that was
Masonic
a
lodge.
base thing.
So I'll be looking for other words.
Not stare.
Or,
Stairs.
oh, stairs.
Not
Say we're all staring down the alley.
Stairs. Stairs.
Oh, it's all the stairs we have to take. Jeremiah.
Jeremiah.
There's a bullfrog.
All
All right, let's go this way.
Jeremiah.
Crosses on it. I like to tell the story back here so we get a nice big view of it. We're also out of the way of the other tours that like to come through here. That is called the Gunpowder Magazine. It is the oldest government building in South Carolina. So the reason why it's significant, and those, by the way, are not crosses, those are earthquake bolts. In the event we have another earthquake like what we did in 1886, the gist behind that is that they're on turnbuckles, which means you can turn them slowly and it'll straighten the building right back up again. It's a great idea, it just doesn't work. So those are the very first earthquake bolts we put in because of the age and the status of the building being a government building. So I talk about this building and the history of it because it's relevant to the story I'm about to go through. I told you guys about the Charlestown walls earlier back in Lodge Alley. This is the road where the wall came up. So it literally went past the powder magazine and then started going south towards the battery. Reason why is it locked it into the corners, protecting all the gunpowder as they kind of moved it all over the place. If it gets attacked from cannon from 3 blocks away, it's going to have a hard time going through the walls. It's 32 inches thick. But let's say a cannonball goes all the way through, penetrates it, and the gunpowder blows up. There's sand in the roof underneath those shingles from 1712. That just behind that is that the sand will blow up with the explosion and fall to put out the fire of the gunpowder. Another great idea that doesn't work. So we had another gunpowder magazine, sand went up, the building burned to the ground. This one's just never been attacked, and it has served in 7 different wars. So there's that number 7 yet again. This took 10 years to build, 1703 to 1713. This doesn't sound like our government, does it? Tiny, small building, 10 years? Our story begins in 1708. So follow me, there's a lot of weird twists, and you guys will probably get a lot of jokes out of this one too. So 1708, a young lady moves here. She's about 8 or 9 years old. She moves here with her dad and his mistress. The mistress is her mother. You guys all with me so far? The 3 of them are running away from his wife from Ireland in 1708. There's no airplane, just boats. So how pissed off was the wife? Just saying. They get here, they land in Georgetown, just north of here. Mom dies pretty quickly. Dad starts sending the daughter down here to Charlestown to sell anything from the plantation and any wares that they may have to help keep things afloat. This is what I call a familiar ghost, because this building is familiar to her time frame. There's not much left from this time period in Charleston. So again, that's why we're here. Anne was also kind of a badass back home. Rumor had it she actually killed one of her servants with a knife to the belly when she was just a child. So that kind of tells you, like Daniel's like, I'm in, let's do this. She's like, I see that, like, yeah, let's do it. All right, so once they get here, we're going to fast forward a little bit. Building's done in 1713. In 1715, pirates are coming through town. And based on her mentality, she's pretty stoked. She falls in love pretty quickly. She's about 16, 17 years old at this time. The guy she falls in love with, his name is James Bonney. Dad doesn't approve. He's a filthy pirate. They move away to Jamaica. They get married. Anne Cormac becomes Anne Bonny, the most famous female pirate of the Golden Age. So, they get down there. This is not Captain Jack Sparrow, the guy that she was hoping for. This guy's a privateer. He's a coward in her eyes. He's a spy for the British, basically. So she falls in love again a few years later. This guy's name is John Rackham, a.k.a. Calico Jack. Calico Jack is called that because he wears the jackets of the men he kills. So, this is the Captain Jack Sparrow that she wanted, and he has his own ship, and she wants to be part of it. Females curse pirate ships. I don't know what it is with females and curses, but there it is. So, with that said, you cannot have a girl on the crew, but he does make a deal with her. If you dress like part of the crew and you hide your gender, you can be part of the crew. Just be a female in my quarters. He's the captain. That's how shit went back then. So, being obviously a female in his quarters, put 2 and 2 together, she eventually gets pregnant. Cannot have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. So somebody's going to figure it out. So he drops her off in Cuba. These are friends of mine. They'll help you have the baby. You can come back and we'll figure it out later. That's the game plan. She goes and has the baby, returns with no kid. We have no idea what happened to the child. Also, she's dressed like a female. She doesn't give a shit anymore about hiding her gender. This makes Jack pretty mad. He just captured another pirate crew. She's going to go flirting, because that's what she does. We're on guy number 3, in case you lost track. The guy she's flirting with turns out to be a female, just like a guy to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack just captured. So now we have 2 females doing the exact same thing on the same ship. This young lady's name is Mary Reed. So she convinces Mary to become part of the crew, and now she has a companion other than Jack. The British find out where they are. They send their entire fleet to come and capture 1 pirate ship. It's Anne and Mary, alone, above deck, fighting with their 1-bullet muskets, trying to defend the ship because the men are too drunk to come up and fight. Obviously, the ship gets captured. As they're being arrested, Anne's last words were to Jack were, "You should have fought like a man instead of going down like a dog." So where dog is a key word for you, obviously. The judge, his name was Nicholas Laws. He wants to see the 2 men that fought back by themselves. So he tries and hangs all of Calico Jack's men, including Calico Jack, so they're dead and gone. The women go in front of the judge and they reveal their gender, trying to save themselves. He doesn't care that they're female. He's still going to hang them because they're still pirates. "We plead our bellies," was the last thing they said, trying to save themselves yet again, because pleading your bellies means you're pregnant. You cannot hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It is illegal. He says, fine, send them both back to jail. We'll delay the hanging. They come back. Dad's still here in Charleston with all of his Irish money. He bails Anne out, brings her back home. She remarries again, guy number 4, because yes, we're counting Mary Reed, and has 4 kids and dies at the age of 84. That's all we know. There's a lot of holes in this story. As far as Mary Reed goes, She died a year later, in 1721. We don't know if the pregnancy was true, but she did die in a Jamaican jail from whatever pirates died from in a Jamaican jail. It was probably scurvious and bumpy and gross and whatever other thing your imagination wants to work with. So, the only October. Would have been relevant.
My birthday's in October.
But we were actually asking Charles some questions, and my first thing always goes to his birthday, because his birthday and death day are the same month, which is October. And I will normally get it twice, if I ask. But, again, wasn't thinking on that rationale when we were there. The only two things that I did not give you as far as what I can prove in this location, as far as questions go, there's only two of them. The name of Calico Jack's ship, which I know for certain, and the name of Anne Bonny's parents. So, that one I know for certain as well. I don't know what the heck this guy's doing racing in here, and hopefully he's not coming in here to throw us out of here. It looks like an Uber turning around.
Yeah.
Over.
I told you guys earlier, you were supposed to remind me, good job, that somebody passed out at my tour a few
Tell
weeks
us
ago.
about the time somebody passed
Yeah.
out.
So a few weeks ago, before I tell the story, the chronological order of this does make more sense. I bring my team back here, team of 6, 7, 8, I don't remember, but I bring them back here, and all of a sudden this young man on the tour starts to pass out. He turns white as a ghost. I mean, when I say white as a ghost, I mean no color in the face, lips, anything. Like
Color. That was your word.
no color at all. Me and his partner pick him up by the shoulders, literally take him over to the wall, get him some water. Send the boyfriend over to go get him a bottle of water, give him a few dollars, he comes back, and I tell the story after he's feeling a little bit better. Afterwards, after I send everybody to spread out and kind of use their devices in whatever fashion, they pull me aside and say, Nick, we got to tell you something. I'm like, what's up? They're like, we are 2 transgender males, and it now makes complete sense of why he passed out. I had 2 females dressed like males on that tour.
You have that tonight too. Just the opposite way.
Oh my God.
Take that for what it is, but it is a night I will probably never forget.
Yeah,
I mean, it just makes complete sense based on the story. As far as your devices in here, we can definitely run some footage on your cameras. Of course, with the cars in here, same principle. People don't like their cars being filmed. I'm gonna head up, we're gonna head towards the wall. If those of you with cameras want to go to the front of the powder magazine and put your cameras inside the gate, you can. Just don't interrupt other tours. That's the only thing I ask. I already annoy them enough, and they're always asking questions. But again, spirit boxes, we're definitely going to ask a few questions in here. Ask whatever you want. As long as I can prove it, well, I won't be able to prove it. We're looking for direct answers. Were you in love with Mary? That's a yes or no question, but if you get something like in love, a yes, it's obviously a direct answer. I'm good with that. Again, the only 2 questions, Jack's ship, Anne's parents. So let's kind of see what we can find out. Your device, you and I are going to hang out because this is not the Pinckney Mansion site where normally I would see a big fluctuation of EMF. So if you get anything, that usually means something else is going to give me something else.
Okay.
So again, you can turn on the REM pod feature if you would like, see if we get any motion out of it, but I'm going to be hanging out near the wall, kind of seeing what we're going to actually get out of it. As far as everybody else, let's spread out and let's see what we can do. You're not dizzy yet from listening to that all night?
Yeah. I'm not going to sleep tonight, though. Not going to be
Poor
there. I'm going to
Paige.
hear static in my sleep.
Poor Paige.
That is not easy.
She's getting a chomp. She's getting a chomp.
I was wondering how I was like. Oh, Sharon. Never had to.
I know. I share every day of my life, so
Me too. That's the same. Like it was like I never.
I just
was
want to
at
be like
Jackson.
this.
Yeah.
But I still will be like this on the edge.
And even like in Dominican, has like a very large.
Yeah.
And then like a blowout and a blow away.
Yeah.
So me, Chris, and Jackson slept together. Like, hey.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't that bad because it was huge, but like there were certain times that I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, well, it's like time what when they lay from the side this way?
Yeah.
Never.
Okay, what's on your list?
Never.
What got on your list?
You.
Just the story you were telling. It seemed like I'm looking at like several eights got in.
I was just put my camera down some alley. Where was that? Remember you said put your camera?
Yes.
No. He just got it under control. 1.5. What's the name of your boat? What's the name of your boat?
What'd you say? What's the name of the boat? I don't know. I heard something, but now I lost it.
Did you doze off? Sleeping on a job?
Slow Jam. The name of the boat was Slow Jam. Girls just want to have fun.
That's definitely relevant.
Yeah, they were having fun on that pirate ship.
I mean, anything dealing with a prominent female figure, like girls just want to have fun. I've had things come through where it said they think we're guys, and it's two ladies laughing. Like, you can't make that shit up.
Blue. The cars are always blue.
Brides?
Are you kidding? Like, again, female prominence here.
I think my camera froze. It did freeze.
Lots of girls just want to have fun.
It's so cold. It's just like.
See anything?
I never know. I mean, it's like blue, but I don't know what the heck. Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Danger.
Uh-oh.
It's just a smile.
Smile.
Release.
Release.
Think about that.
You're really blue.
Oh,
Because I'm freezing.
That was a good song.
All right, Anne, Mary, give us some answers. What was the name of Calico Jack's ship?
Well, we called it a boat. Maybe we should have said ship.
What was the name of Calico Jack's
Child.
ship?
People are coming through vehicles, just kind of keep that in mind. This is the one piece over here that I get
That
super
tree is
interested
pretty.
about because this is a dead zone, so if something does occur, it's a
That tree is
definitive
really
like
pretty,
holy
by
cow.
the way. Look at that one.
Raise your hand up, you want those hot hands now?
But then I can't do this. Like,
Keep them in your pocket and just warm one up at a
oh,
time.
okay. Thank you.
Sorry to bring it up for everybody.
That's okay.
They don't need them.
It reminds me of the part in
I
Dumb
hear
and Dumber. He's like,
They're
you
fine.
had these gloves all along. There's like a light flickering in there. That's kind of creeping me out.
Well, those are apartments.
Oh, okay.
People live there. Another reason.
What's that?
Dispute.
Go ahead and pull that one out of there. You see the little white cushion looking thing?
yes.
Yep. Pull it and shake it. And throw it in your pocket, and then it will start to get warm.
Would you care coming to your car and seeing people that to care that people are standing here with stuff to like people complain about them, their cars get like they think like people are stealing it or something?
Sure.
Look at it. Do I squeeze it or just shake it?
Shake it.
Shake it to activate. I'm gonna watch it get warmer.
You have to remember too, if I was a car thief, Danielle's camera, that'd be my first tool. She knows exactly how long these cars have been here based on their heat signature. So if it's been here for a little while and it's a little cooled off, I'm probably gonna make an attempt.
Interesting.
I got a creepy thing up here.
But you could see where the engine's warm.
I like that.
So yeah,
I'll use the future.
it is a little. It's
Yeah,
got some.
steel things.
It's got some validity behind it.
Mm-hmm. Why does Danielle steal things? It's her specialty. Specialize.
Ooh.
Why do you do? I specialize.
Oh, it's a street light. Never mind. Look, I took this picture and I go, look.
Oh, it's
It's a street light.
Oh.
It's a
That
street
tree
light.
looks
Because I
cool,
like the tree. Doesn't it look cool?
So, yeah. I thought.
I got really
Yeah, that was
excited because I liked the tree, so I took a picture and I was like, oh, look at that. But it's the street light.
I use that tree in social media all the time. Like if you stand over here, you can get the whole.
It's really
tree
pretty.
True. That is cool. Anyway, back's killing me.
I'm just cold.
And just shivering and standing stiff
Yeah.
just definitely doesn't help the back.
No ghost killed us, so.
Nothing's happening here.
You may have to like snap them.
Yeah, it's fairly warm. So, yeah, see? That thing's going. No, they're cold. They're cold.
Oh my god, my old.
You're not
Oh, God, here she goes.
You're not really.
No, we're good. It's too old.
Cooter. Cooter. He told me it was gooder. Cooter. I thought you said cooter.
Oh, your hair is adorable. I know, it's so cute. Looks really good. It does. Danielle hates it. She's looking so.
I can send pictures of the messy room to my wife and just start picking stuff out and look like it's all tidied up. And then she comes home and it's a mess again.
But I like how yours like actually looks like it looks like mine. You know, like I don't know what's up with my phone.
It's Apple.
Oh, okay.
Did I say that out loud? Oh shit, I did.
It's Apple. That's funny.
You can't be part of the group if you don't have an apple, so you're out.
You are outnumbered.
I usually am.
Grab this. You jerk. Max.
Sorry, I'm out of hot hands.
That's okay.
It's working.
No,
No,
I don't
no,
think they're
I'm-
working. Try one.
No, you're fine. I'm fine.
Gotta shake
one.
it.
I was just trying to shake it.
Gotta shake
Oh,
it,
it
shake it.
feels a little warm.
It's not gonna start a fire.
Ah, I feel it.
Alright, anything on the word list. Anything at all.
Crash. Storm. All right. Expected heater. Expected fire.
Alright.
Can't,
No,
like, squeeze
obviously, readings on
Wait,
your
what?
device.
What's that thing?
Again,
It was
this
like
is a hit or
weird
miss.
music.
This location is either just a crock pot of all kinds of data or we get nothing at all. So without any kind of readings coming from the EMF meter and nothing significant coming out of your spirit boxes, I say we call it and I'll come over to the